G'day, I'm Sam from Espresso Works. Today we're going to be running through some basic servicing on the S.A.B Jolly. To start with, we'll start with removing and replacing the group seals and shower screens. So these are the necessary tools. We've got a pick, a wire brush to clean your diffusers, a little stumpy screwdriver, and a little brush to clean the coffee out. So we'll move over to the shower screens. We're just going to remove the diffuser screw. Once the screw is out, the shower screen and diffuser can be levered out. If these are a bit stubborn, obviously, you can just pull it out with your pick. This will come off this diffuser screen, at which point you give these a clean up with your wire brush. We'll move on to the seal. With your pick, you're just jabbing it in and pulling it out. Like so. Okay, so we've got our old shower screens and seals and our new ones here. Before putting any of the new components in, it's good to give the group head a brush to remove any excess coffee. You begin with your group seals. On these seals, the numbers always face up, such that the group head, the group handle can fit in as it should. The group seal just gets pushed up. I find the easiest way is to just get as much as you can up with your fingers first. Eventually grabbing a portafilter, inserting it with a bit of force upwards, give it a wiggle and turn. The next component we need to put in is the group screen, which sits in the diffuser only one way. The rubber seal on the back of the diffuser goes up. Just make sure not to over tighten this screen so that it can come out relatively easily if need be. For the second portion of the service, we'll be changing the anti-suctions and the level probe. There's two different types of anti-suction, both do the same job, just different varieties. Level probe as well, just needs a clean up or a removal and a replacement. These are the tools necessary. You'll need a 17mm and 19mm either spanner or socket and a screwdriver just to get the top of the machine off. It's very important on this portion of the service that the machine is turned off to 0 and the machine is completely de-steamed, as you're going to be working on a boiler which is under pressure. The top of the machine is removed. There's two screws on top which allow you to take off the top. And with your socket, just remove the anti-suction. Obviously, once the machine is de-steamed, typically if the machine is hot, you can use a glove to protect your hand from being burned. New anti-suction is replaced. And tightened. Generally, you can add some Teflon tape to prevent there from being any leaks of steam. The level probe is the second item that we'll replace. The cable comes off. Level probe is unscrewed and removed. And the new one is placed in. Once the level probe is tightened and in place, it's important that you tighten the top portion of the nut so that the level probe can't physically move. Prior to installing the level probe, it's important to make sure that the length of the probe matches the new one. If it needs snipping, just use a pair of pliers to snip it to length. So once you put the cable and plug back on the level probe, another little issue that machines can have which need servicing are the steam taps. If they ever feel gritty, the cap pops off like so, and they are held in place by a small split pin. Removing that split pin allows this tap to be removed and greased up. So replacing a filter is necessary every single service, arguably the most important part of the service, very straightforward. The britters unlock by twisting that little switch. They then pull out. Old filter goes in the bin, at which point a new filter goes in. By pushing up, it can only go in one way. You lock the filter, at which point you've got to purge the filter. You do so by flicking this switch on top of the head backwards. Air and water will start to come out of this little tube. At the point it stops spitting air, you flick the switch back and you're all done. Purging the filter looks a bit like this. As you can see, a steady stream of water is coming out, which means that enough of the filter has been purged.